glad that you are with us again. Now we're here with Dr. Saths Cooper. He obtained his PhD at clinical community psychology in 1989, right? Am I right? Okay. He is here at our Congress in Armenia in the Quindío department. And first of all, Dr. Cooper, I want to ask you about this talk that you have brought to us in this opportunity. The topic is Psychology in Latin America, the last frontier. What is this about? What are you going to present us?
Well, basically, it's about Latin American psychology's lack of visibility in psychology internationally.
Okay.
While nearly every country in Latin America has growing numbers of young people going into psychology, and in some places like Chile, Argentina, Mexico, Colombia, the numbers are just growing phenomenally. The involvement of Latin American psychology in global psychology is very small. So my challenge to the psychologists in Latin America, and particularly the leadership of psychology in Latin America, is to play a role internationally. Because without the voice of Latin American psychology, the world of psychology is poorer, and Latin American psychology gets excluded from discussions internationally. So it is about taking Latin American psychology to the world and bringing the world of psychology to Latin America so that there is mutual benefit.
Why? You're from South Africa,
Yes.
so why are you so interested in Latin America psychology?
Because psychology is universal. Any part of the world where there is psychology thriving, like it's happening in your country and in Latin America, deserves to be put on the map internationally. Traditionally, there have been divides according to old colonial relationships, and more recently, because of undemocratic governments in many places, people have been separated. But now in the 21st century, there's instant communication, electronically, Facebook, Twitter, all sorts of social media. One can know at any point what is happening in another part of the world. And we should be able to know what is happening in Latin American psychology, because Latin American psychology has come through tremendous hardships from the 70s, where there were so many military juntas, through to the process of democratization, openness that we have in many countries now. But there's still civil strife, there's still saber rattling. Venezuela and Colombia, there's still dictatorship. So we don't need to be imprisoned in the mind. Our minds need to be exposed to everything that is happening anywhere in the world.
And that's very interesting, Dr. Cooper, because, for example, here in Colombia, we're like a mix of Indian, of Asian people, of European people, and then, boom, we're here.
Yes.
So that kind of cultural beginning, I think it's really interesting for you as a psychologist, but for anthropology, sociology, to put their focus in this kind of fields, in this kind of regions.
That's right, because with such a multicultural country like Colombia, we need to know what are the ingredients that make people live together, work together, play together, and how can we teach the rest of the world to be more tolerant, because the intolerance, the strife that is happening in many parts of the world is increasing. We have religious wars, we have terror attacks all over, and to learn from experiences like this one, where people have come also through civil strife, through conflict in the hills in this country, to FARC presence in certain places, and so on. We need to know what is it that makes people look for a higher human value, and how is it that they survive? How is it that Colombian people are known for hospitality, are known for being friendly, are known for loving music and dance, despite the hardships that you have confronted? So young people, in particular, have a role to play to shape the future of human behavior and also specifically psychology.
You talk about a concept that I think I can fall in love with that concept. That's human value. So you were part, and I have to talk about it, you were part of one of the most interesting situations in the world in your country, in South Africa. You were part of the anti-apartheid crisis or the anti-apartheid movement. So I want to ask you about, you know how to reconstruct a society. You were part of a reconstruction
Yes.
that it's still
Ongoing.
yeah?
Yes.
In Colombia, we're trying to do the same. Which kind of advices can you give us to achieve this goal?
I think first of all, it is to be open to each other. It is to recognize that all of us have a terrible past, but not to allow that past to impact on the present, so that in the future, the nightmares, the horrors of what happened in the past don't continue dominating us. So we need to free ourselves from the horrors of the past so that all of you can have a better future. And for the rest of the world, that will be a major success story. So for instance, in South Africa, we came from rigid walls, not only prison walls, but where people could not interact with each other. Now we have an open society. Now we have in psychology a complete turnaround. And psychology is a force for good. It can be a force for evil, for dictatorship, for torture, for oppression.
Hitler was a
Exactly,
good example of that.
exactly. But it can be a force for good. And it is that good that we need to be promoting.
I believe that's the perfect line to close this interview.
Thank you.
Dr. Cooper, thank you very much for being with us. It's really interesting to hear your experience as a psychologist and a person who was a part of a very important moment in the worldwide history. Thank you to all of us, and we'll be seeing you soon.